And welcome to Sports Talk on the Tuesday night edition. We are live on the WJRG television network. And with me to my right is the legend, Bruce Austin. What's up, my brother?
Everything's beautiful, brother.
Everything is always beautiful. We're going to have a great time.
You're going to hold it down.
Hold it down tonight. All the way in Jacksonville, Florida, my brother, Henry Green. What's up, my brother? God bless you, man.
God bless. How's everybody doing this evening?
We are blessed.
Great.
And all the way in Maryland, Frederick, Maryland. OKC here to stay. Now get ready. Brother Larry Pearson. What's up, Larry?
Everything's good.
And the sports legend, Anthony McLean. What's up, my brother? God bless.
Doing good. Thank you, guys.
And one of the greatest pastors in the world for Basileia, Pastor Walter T. How you doing, my brother? God bless.
Doing well. How's everyone?
Great.
We are blessed. We are blessed. We're going to have a great time tonight. Also, Bob McCormick's going to be filling in with our sports update around 6:20. So we'll give Bob an opportunity as well. Pastor Walt, I want to start with you on one because I got one about the Lakers. DeAndre Ayton will sign. He signed with the Lakers. Start with you, Pastor. That's going to help your team or what in the 2026 season? What can he do to help the Lakers? DeAndre Ayton.
Play every game would be a good start. You know, he's a guy. He needs to be motivated. He has good games and bad games. It's better than what they had, but that's not what they needed. They needed a better center than that.
Better center?
Yeah, than him. Yeah.
But how many better centers are available?
Well, that's the problem. That don't mean that they don't need them. If they're not available, that's one thing. But they still need something better than that. You said, how is he going to help them? So he's better than Jackson Hayes because he's bigger, but he doesn't, always show up. And I don't think he's played a complete season in probably the last 3 or 4 years. So.
Okay. What about you, Larry? What's your thoughts on Ayton for the Lakers?
I think you just going back into the retreads. He's been out here for years. He never had the heart. He never had the motivation. He never gave 100%. I don't think. He just didn't have that go get it kind of attitude and give it all you got. He plays a game like you just playing. Just playing to get paid. It's not in his heart to win. He just want to play and make money.
Well, he went to the finals now. Don't forget even though he lost to Giannis, Giannis, made him look a little bad, but he still helped Phoenix get to the finals as a big man. Let me go.
But he didn't have that go get him back then. He couldn't do it. He couldn't produce.
It wasn't his team though. It was Chris Paul team and the other guy, Booker. Let me go with my brother real fast. Henry, you're a Laker man too. What's about Ayton?
Well, like Pap said, and Larry, he's really not a guy that's really motivated, but they got him out of the buyout market because he got traded. I forgot whatever team they bought him out. So they kind of got him off the scrap barrel. They couldn't get Miles Turner or some of the other guys because they don't have the funds to do that because LeBron got to pay him $50-something million. So they kind of scrapped. They did sign Hayes also as a backup. So
right.
They got to sign Luka. Luka Doncic also in August for next month. So they kind of scrapped.
They didn't sign Luka already? No,
they got to wait till August.
Okay, let me go with Anthony, then I'll go with Bishop. Anthony, your thoughts on the Lakers?
Yeah, it's one of those low risk, high reward if you can get them motivated. Though that's the thing. Is he an upgrade from what they had? Yes. Does this change how you look at them overall at the position? Not really. I'm guessing that management is hoping that LeBron can sort of, get in his kitchen, so to speak, and motivate him. But also a lot of this is going to fall on him.
Okay. All right, Bishop, what you think about Ayton with the Lakers, man? Lakers said Lakers in the big man.
I'm not even sure, Jerry, because I didn't hear too much about it. So if you don't mind, I'm going to pass. Good evening to you, gentlemen. I
Good evening.
apologize.
How are you?
What's
I'm
up?
on the road. I have a minor emergency, truck stuff. And so just,
Yeah.
so I'll
Just
pass on that one.
keep your eyes on the road, man.
Oh, I can see the road. I can hear you. I'm trying to connect my headset. So, we're going to be all right with that. I've been doing this so long now, I could almost drop my eyes closed. Wow.
Let me go with Bruce on the Lakers. And go ahead, Bruce.
Yeah, I agree. Most everybody said everything. He got all the tools, but the thing gonna be with him getting them motivated. If Luke and LeBron can't motivate him, this might be the last stop.
Well, was he playing last year in the league? Was he playing with
He
anybody?
played with Portland,
Play with Portland.
but he, like I said, he didn't raise enough sand to even notice he was there. You know what I mean? Like they said, the biggest thing, he need to be motivated. Well, LeBron and Luka might be able to do that because he has all the tools. He can play. You just got to get him to play.
Right.
I believe he was a #1 draft pick, but he just never built up to,
He was the #1 draft pick one time?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Phoenix.
Phoenix.
Yeah, and then they got rid of him. That's so much he did. They got rid of him.
Because you don't have the heart for the sport,
Right. He like
There's a
Buster Douglas.
difference between
He's
going in there and
Buster
giving
Douglas of the
100%.
NBA.
You know,
Well,
there's a difference between giving 100% and wanting to win, and then just playing for fun.
Yeah.
He don't take it very seriously. He never has.
But if he plays well playing with LeBron, and he'll get a lot of dunk, what you call alley-oop passes and stuff. Because the both of them guys are great passers. So he shouldn't have to really work for his shot too much.
Right.
how is he as a rebounder, though? Is he a pretty good rebounder?
Pretty good rebounder.
He's decent.
If he wants to. I mean, he's actually a good, offensive player inside, but it's all about motivation. The days that he wanted to play, he could play, but
Okay, so
he ain't Anthony Davis.
so can he give you 10 rebounds? Can he get you 10 rebounds?
Depends on the day of the week.
LeBron can get me 10 rebounds, man.
Yeah, so can Luka. So
Correct. Yeah, but no. I think we've heard what everybody said. He's got to be motivated. He's better than what they had, and that's it. I'm not excited, or they ain't winning no title with them.
There's a difference in can and will.
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
Right. All right. Well, like I said, the Lakers, they needed a big man. They got one, and he got to be motivated. Okay.
That's all.
You playing for the Lakers. You playing for the Lakers, you can't get motivated playing for the Lakers. Something wrong. Playing with LeBron and Luka, if you can't get motivated playing with them, something's wrong.
Yeah, but
Something wrong. He was the #1 pick. Something is wrong.
Exactly. And his third team, and he was the number one overall pick. Something wrong.
Something wrong.
we got the right chemistry too.
Well, he was with that Phoenix team, which you just said. They went to the finals. He had guys around him.
All right, but Phoenix team had the same Kevin Durant team, and they got swept. No, I'm saying we're talking about Phoenix with Booker, and they got knocked out the first round 2 years in a row. So sometimes it's the team too.
Yeah, but when Phoenix lost, they blamed it on him.
That's why they got rid of him.
Wouldn't be motivated.
When he got lost to Giannis, Giannis.
Come on, man.
Giannis is at the peak of his career.
Sometimes it ain't good to use every excuse.
But he lost to Giannis, right or wrong. Who's the MVP of that championship?
Yeah, but it's the difference when you play ball and they see that you slouch. And that's what makes it different. They know you can do that, but you won't. That's what they're looking at him. They know he had it in him, not that he's going to get the best of him.
Phoenix is up 2-0.
It don't matter about that. What we're saying is they knew he could play better, but he wouldn't. That's all. It don't matter who he was playing against. When he went to Portland, it was the same thing. He got the tools, but he just won't get it.
There's a reason why he's on his third team in 5 years.
Right.
But we can say that, Anthony. If I can say the same thing about Paul George, I can say the same thing about
Paul George, but Paul George is
No, you can't say that about Paul George, man.
accomplished much
No.
more than this guy.
Paul George was balling until he got that injury, man. Yeah, no.
Paul George was on the Olympic
No,
team.
you can't say that about Paul George.
Can't do that.
Paul George. Yeah,
Only-
before
You can't say that about Paul George, man.
in the
Paul
playoffs.
George was like all NBA until he got that injury
So he got
with
the playoffs.
He had
Indiana.
injuries every
Like
year.
James Harden in the
Yeah.
playoffs.
Every year
Yeah.
now.
All right.
All right, okay. I don't want to beat on. You guys are the Laker guys. I just think that DeAndre Ayton, he can beat up too much. I think he can help the Lakers pretty good.
No, we hoping he can. But Willie, that's the question.
All right, Bishop, your boy
Go ahead.
Mike Brown, how good a coach he gonna be for the Knicks?
Well, I mean, I did get to look him up a little bit, see where he's been, what he's done, and I guess if that's what they want, and you already know my preference, they're not taking Mark Jackson. I got to give him an honest to goodness chance because, I mean, like the Lakers took a chance on J.J. Redick, and it worked out. Cleveland took a chance on Tyronn Lue. It worked out. This might work out for the Knicks. So let's hope, because I mean, I'm not in my home computer. Y'all see my background. If it don't work out, you know my words. Wait till next year. That's it.
Well, Anthony, you a Knick man. What you think on Mike Brown?
You talking to me?
Anthony.
Oh, Anthony. Okay.
I'm like Bishop. I wanted Mark Jackson very badly, but now that now that Brown is there, got to give him. You have to give him a chance. And let's be honest, he's been a coach of the year. He's been around. He has been around other great coaches as an assistant. Probably got a little bit of a raw deal in LA because I don't think they gave up on him a little too quickly. Same thing in Sacramento in a sense too, because he sort of did what Thibodeau did, where he brought Sacramento to the playoffs after a long drought, and then once they got off to a slow start last year, they kicked them to the side. So we'll see. A lot's going to depend on how this roster is going to look. Now I like at least the guys that they brought in, but there's still you gotta think that there's going to be another big move waiting to happen though.
Let me go, Larry. Can Mike Brown handle the pressure in New York?
I think Mike Brown, he's gonna get a raw deal because he's going New York Knicks, and they expecting something. They expecting to at least go back to the conference finals. And if he doesn't get that done, if they don't have a really good season, they're not gonna stay with him long. I say it's the wrong time in. He got a lot of background, been a lot of different teams. He got experience, but they want to win. They want to win now. And if he doesn't get it, they're gonna let him go.
I don't think that's fair to Mike Brown to say if he don't get back to the conference finals, he's a failure.
I said in the next 3 years. In the next 3 years, because they right at that point.
Yeah, but I'm saying, suppose OKC don't get back to the finals. Are they a failure? Suppose Denver going every year. It's not that easy to repeat every year. I mean, you got different players going to the team. I mean, you got the coach. It's not that easy to keep repeating as you did the year before. That was to have one winner every year. Same
But New York is hungry, and they are so hungry. They was right there, and they expect something great to come from the team.
Yeah, I understand what you're saying, but I'm just saying it's not fair to Mike Brown to say if he don't get to the conference finals, he's a failure.
I mean, he's not a failure, but his expectation is going to be high.
Every team in the East is expected to get to the conference.
Like the Celtics, when you picked the Celtics
Exactly.
to go to the finals, they didn't make it.
Exactly.
So it was a failure for them in this season. Go pass the ball on the Knicks.
Yeah, Mike Brown's a good coach, man. I mean, like Ant said, he did the same. He pretty much got the Mark Jackson deal. He turned Sacramento around. I mean, they was cellar dwellers forever, and he made them, relevant. Came back the next year, but like I said, he got fast. He got a terrible start in LA. What they did, fire him after like 14 games or something like that. But Yeah, he's a quality coach, and he's a defensive minded coach. So that'll help too in New York because they want that defense. I think he's gonna be okay because I think he brings in that winning pedigree. He can walk in. What's up, Justice? He can walk in, and have some kind of clout. He's not like one of the new college kids that's gonna go in there and they don't listen to himself. But I think it's going to be pertinent that they're on the uptick, that they don't just end up in, like number 6 seed or something like that. And I think if that happens, I think there's going to be more fallout on the owner because they shouldn't have got rid of Tibbs. I mean, he did something that, that hadn't been done in a quarter century and they fired him. So, I mean,
But I think get rid of Tibbs. He was
yeah.
he was like Tony Dungy was with Tampa Bay. He did all he could, but couldn't get him over the finish line. Plus, everybody was mad at Tibbs because he played the starters too long. It was more than him just not winning. Everybody think he was stubborn. He was stuck in his old ways, and that was holding the Knicks back. So I thought it was great for them to change up.
Okay, we'll see.
Okay.
Okay, you say something?
No. I was saying okay. Go ahead, Larry.
Henry, go ahead.
Okay. I think management overestimated the job as well. I thought, I think that they thought they were going to get that position filled quicker than it took. And now, to me, to be quite honest, there's more, to go back to what Walt said, to me, there's more pressure on management than there is Brown. I think Brown will be okay. Again, you got to see what kind of team they're going to put around them. But to me, if they take a step back this year, this falls in Leon Rose's lap. Plain and simple.
True. Do you think that the players is going to respect Mike Brown, given that respect that he needs the players?
I think they'll respect him. It doesn't matter how the results were. To me, I know Tibbs, he has a reputation. He does play his starters, but he brought him and the Knicks and the chemistry they had. They went far, and to me, it would seem like the Knicks really didn't have a plan because like they fired him, then they tried to talk to Jason Kidd, who was already hired, and some of the other coaches. To me, it seemed like they should have stuck with him one more year and just see how far the Knicks could go. But we'll see what
did a good job. Okay, he doesn't have the superstar player. Jalen Brunson is great. He's no Steph. He's no what's the guy for OKC? It's DA.
Yeah.
I mean, but I just think that the Knicks need another player that can help Jalen Brunson get over the hump.
Yep. That's exactly what they need.
Okay, he's no Jason Tatum. You know what I'm saying? They need a superstar.
Bridges didn't turn out to be the player.
Right.
They gave up so much for Bridges, but he didn't turn out to be the player that they needed. They thought he would be the help.
And he became.
Now they brought the boy in from Utah, and he can go once he gets started. You know what I mean? So he might be the one to put Bridges butt on the bench. But the Knicks trying their best to get rid of Bridges during this.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay, but because I think it's more the players than Dibbs. Because Dibbs had to play.
Some combinations always.
Yeah.
The players always got to take some of those players.
So you guys think, as far as you, Henry, if Mike Brown don't get into the Eastern Conference Finals, is a failure or what?
No, not at all. Not at all.
To me, I would say, well, it all depends on how their record goes.
Mm-hmm.
Just because they don't get to the Eastern Conference Final, I won't necessarily say it's a failure, but it all depends on how the season goes. Now if they don't make the playoffs, absolutely, but they're playing. But it just all depends on how they play, how the season plays out. We just have to see. I can't really say if they don't make it to the Eastern Conference Final, it's a failure because how they do in the playoffs, who they lose to, how everything go. But if they wind up getting in the play-in spot, because they were the 4th seed, number 3 seed in the Eastern Conference.
Let me go there.
Bruce, we're number 4th seed.
think they was number 3.
Number 3.
So to me, it all depends on not so much what they're doing, but how they finish the regular, where they finish at.
I
And
agree
then
with that.
what they have to say.
Like this,
I agree with
Larry.
that.
Unless he has a Larry Brown season like that he had in New York, he'll fulfill his contract.
Right. And let me go, Larry. Larry, first
The
of
thing
all,
is-
the
the
Boston
thing-
Celtics without Jason Tatum, so they're not gonna be the same. Indiana not gonna be the same with Halliburton going down. The Bucks are not gonna be the same. So the East is wide open. It's really this is the Knicks' time coming up next year. Do you think the Knicks can do it with them teams hurting, even Philly's hurting? So with Mike Brown, can he take them to the finals, Larry? With Mike Brown,
I think their chemistry. They bring in a lot of, the Knicks. First, the chemistry with Brunson is sometimes great, sometimes not. Towns coming in, it depends on how Towns going to play. It mixing with everybody, and they got to find out because Bridges did a lot for them in the playoffs. Now they think they don't need him as much. I think that's a bad move, but I think they might have a problem with
Who
their
you said, Jeff?
chemistry, and I don't think they're gonna make the finals, even with those teams looking the way they're looking.
go ahead, Pastor Walt. What do you think? All the teams are hurt.
No, I don't. No, I don't think they. Because I think Orlando's going to be better. I think Detroit has another year under their belt. They're going to be better. Cleveland is not going to be hurt. No, I don't think. No, I think they gotta. And I think Minnesota. I think Milwaukee will be just fine as long as Giannis stays there.
Yeah, they brought
Because
Miles
you
in
took
there.
out. Yeah, you got Miles now instead of Lopez. I mean, yeah, they're gonna be fine. Bobby Portis, they're gonna be all right.
What do you think, Bishop?
Well, honestly speaking, and I would say this, going back to the
You good?
top, I had to agree with somebody about Tibbs being he. I don't think he got fired because of his regular season. I think he got fired because of his playoff and the way he rotated the team for the playoffs. I don't know. I'm gonna put it to you like this: if they don't make the playoffs, Brown won't necessarily be in trouble, but that upper echelon of the office, GM and all those people, are gonna have a very difficult time. Simple as that.
Go ahead, Anthony. What do you think, man?
Oh yeah, I agree. Right now, no, they're not a team. But right now, they're not going to get to the finals. At this moment, right now, no. They still have to do something with the roster. They can't come back with the same exact team. They don't have to overhaul it. They just got to tweak it. And
they got two new players there, Anthony.
Yeah,
and the one kid from the Frenchman, I can't think of his name. I can't say his name, I should say right now. Right. From what they're saying about him, he ought to be an impact player almost instantly.
Yeah.
He didn't get a fair shot last year.
No, you know what? I thought he was a perfect fit. Would have been the perfect fit for the Knicks last year. That's what they needed. That rebounder. Last year I thought he would have been the perfect fit after the Olympics for the Knicks last year. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, listen, I got Bob McCormick. He's going to do his sports report. Then we'll come back. I want to talk about that trade with the Clippers with Paul George and SGA. We're going to talk about that, how bad of a trade that was. Go ahead, Bob.
I thought you were talking about Norman Powell.
Norman Powell too. Go ahead, Bob.
Hey, Jerry. I know you guys have been talking about Mike Brown, who was named officially the head coach of the Knicks today. He was previously head coach for the Kings, Cavs, and Lakers, and an assistant in Golden State, Indiana, San Antonio, and Washington. Got a pretty impressive resume. Brown is also a two-time NBA Coach of the Year. The Mavs' Anthony Davis has undergone a procedure to repair a detached retina in his eye that he suffered during the regular season. True Holiday trade to the Blazers is official, with Anthony Simons going to Boston. The two draft picks, however, are not part of the deal anymore due to Holiday's health concerns. The Lakers re-signed Jackson Hayes to a one-year deal. LA also agreeing to a 2-year deal with DeAndre Ayton, who reportedly will make $33.7 million next season. The Hornets signed free agent Spencer Dinwiddie to a one-year deal. The Pacers confirmed, I heard you guys mention a minute ago, Tyrese Halliburton will miss the entire 2025-26 season after surgery to repair a torn Achilles tendon. The Magic's Paolo Banchero agrees to a $239 million max rookie deal. Kyle Lowry is going back to the Sixers for a one-year deal. Lost my place there. The Grizzlies trade center Jay Huff to the Pacers for a second-round pick. Dennis Schroeder agrees to a 3-year, $45 million contract with the Kings. Kevin Smith.
I got background noise.
Where did Schroeder go? Can't hear him.
Can you hear me now?
Okay, go ahead. Bishop, you got background noise, I think.
Kevin Durant is going to the Rockets in a 7-year deal. The Heat acquired Norman Powell. John Collins is off the Clippers, with Kevin Love and Kyle Anderson going to the Utah Jazz. Kyle Lowry, I mentioned, is going back to the Sixers. This year's NHL draft, for the first time ever, 20 players of color, including 10 black athletes, that is, were selected. Also, Red Wings' Alex Delvecchio passed away at the age of 93. On to baseball, the Yankees' Clark Schmidt will undergo Tommy John surgery. The All-Star game is a week from tonight. Aaron Judge will be starting in the outfield. The Mets, Francisco Lindor will be the starter at shortstop for the National League. Pitcher pride of the Yankees, Garrett Crochet, and Aroldis Chapman from Boston are all part of the pitching crew for the American League. Edwin Diaz of the Mets is the National League. Alex Bregman of Boston, Jazz Chisholm of the Yankees are reserves, along with Pete Alonso of the Mets. The Mets fired their general manager and manager. Miguel Cairo is the interim manager for now. Former Phillies Freddie Galvis is retired. American Taylor Fritz is in the men's semifinal at Wimbledon. Carlos Alcaraz also won today. On the women's side, Sabalenka and Anisimova were also winners. WNBA today, a final. The Mystic 81, Sky 79. Aces Liberty is tonight. The Beavers' Caitlin Clark expected to return tomorrow after missing the last 5 games with a groin injury. Former Cowboys tight end Pettis Norman played for them from 62 to 70, has died at the age of 86. And yes, the Cowboys, Texans, Rockets, Mavs, Spurs, Rangers have all donated millions to the flood relief in Texas. Kansas City Chiefs owner Clark Hunt is mourning the loss of 9-year-old relative who lost their life in the Central Texas floods. And these stories are found on the Big Don Sports Production Facebook page. And that's all the sports I got for you tonight, Jerry.
All right, Bob. Thank you, man. We appreciate the sports report, man. Have a good night, man.
All right.
All right.
Good night, Bob.
And that's Bob McCormick with our sports update. I'm Dr. Jerry Green, along with the legend Bruce Austin on my right. We got Brother Anthony McLean, our sports legend. Our brother Henry Green in Jacksonville, Florida. Bishop Ernest Richard from Power to Stand all the way in Maryland. Larry Pearson, my brother-in-law, OKC all the way, and the Celtics. And all the way in Maryland, and one of the greatest pastors, Walter T. Vasilea. Pastor, now you brought up the trade with Powell, you said. You want to talk about that a little bit?
Oh, Norman Powell. Yeah, they traded him to the Heat.
Okay.
Yeah. Good. That's a good trade for the Heat. That's a real good trade for the Heat because it give him another scorer, give him another shooter, outside shooter. So I think it was a real good trade for the Heat. And the Heat got what's the last name? John Collins. They got John Collins, yeah. So that's good because they need a backup center because really all they have is Zubac. So, but I think from what I understand, I guess the Heat are trying to get Bradley Beal because I guess the Suns are going to buy out his contract. And so it seems like they're going to try to get Bradley Beal to come to not the Heat, Clippers. The Clippers to replace Norman Powell.
It's got to be a good move, you think? Bradley Beal?
I think they would have been better with keeping Norman Powell, but he's younger. He plays. He's hard. He should have been an all-star. So I think it's a real good move for the Heat, though.
Okay, what do you think, Larry, on Norman Powell?
I think it was a good trade, but I wouldn't touch Bill with a 10-foot pole. If they didn't learn from now, he would disaster every place he been.
Oh, even
And he got all that money for nothing. That was the biggest ripoff I ever seen.
Wow.
That Bradley Beal.
Yeah, Bradley Beal. Larry rough, boy.
I agree with him.
And he ain't have no gun.
He was good in Washington.
Yeah, but he ain't do nothing with Phoenix.
Oh, he done with him. It ain't his fault. You guys blaming everybody. I mean, it was Kevin Durant team. Remember, he been up.
He let him get to be part of the team with his talent. They expected more than what they got.
Let me go with Anthony. Now go with my brother Anthony. What you think on that Powell trade?
Powell. Oh yeah, great move for the Heat. Gives them another scorer. Bradley Beal, somewhere along the way, I don't know. Those first couple of years in the league with him and Wall wasn't too bad, but somewhere along the way he just started picking up paychecks and just really. I mean, for a guy that came out with as much hype as he did, from where he was. I mean, even just from a couple of years ago, it's you take put his way. You know exactly what you're getting with him. So when a guy gets traded that many times and people still bring him back, it's not about the player anymore. It's about some of these organizations that keep saying, "Well, we can change him. We can change him." Like, I don't know.
All right. What about you, bro? What do you think about Powell being traded to the Miami Heat and also Bradley Beal? If the Clippers get in.
Starting for Miami Heat, that was a good trade for them. For the Clippers, it's not to me because he was a good scorer. So now we know Kawhi, can he stay healthy the whole year? And James Harden in playoffs, you gave up a guy that can score for you. So that right there, I don't know. Now, as far as Bradley Beal, he just happened to be in the right place at the right time. He was with the Wizards. So with the Wizards, when his max contract came up, he was the star of the team. So he doesn't make a team better, but he just happened to be at the right place, so he got the money. And then, for some reason, they gave him the no trade clause in his contract. So
right.
It worked out good for him. But but to me, I think the Clippers should have really thought about that when you depending on Harden in the playoffs and Kawhi Leonard with his health, and you gave up a guy that can definitely put the ball in the basket.
All right. What do you think, Bruce?
Yeah, I think that was a good trade for Miami because Duncan Robinson left Miami.
Oh, he left too?
Yeah, he left.
Yeah.
Where he go to?
I forgot where he went. He left. He signed with somebody.
Wow.
But that's a great pickup for Miami.
I forgot where he went to. I don't know if he went to Atlanta, but yeah, he did. I forgot where Duncan Robinson went to.
I think you're right. I think Atlanta. I think it is Atlanta.
Yeah.
But it'd be good for Powell because he can get out of the shadow of Harden.
Okay, James Harden.
I think Harden and them held him back a little bit. Him and Leonard. But this guy can go, man. When them guys was hurt, he was holding the team up.
He was. So why were you trading then? Why were you trading him if you had a guy with that valuable?
Because he didn't fit in with them, and they saw that. You know what I mean?
No, they wanted more size.
Yeah.
They got John Collins. They needed another big man because once Zubac went to the bench, they didn't have another big man.
Okay, that
like
makes
the
sense.
Lakers. They like Lakers. They didn't have another big man.
Because they lost to Denver, right? In the playoffs. They lost to the Nuggets with the Joker, I think. Yeah.
I think they picked up another big man though. I think they picked up a backup center. I forgot who it was.
No, they got Lopez.
Right. There you go. That's what it was.
Yeah.
I think John Collins can be that power forward that they need.
Andy, you want to say something, Andy?
Yeah, I just want to say Duncan Robinson went to the Detroit Pistons.
Oh, Detroit. Right. Okay.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. That's a good move.
Oh yeah.
That'd be a good move.
He can shoot. Yeah, especially since they're investigating my man for gambling. Yeah, they need him.
Oh yeah. Uh,
They need somebody to shoot. Yeah.
that's an excellent move
listen,
for
listen.
Detroit. Detroit.
I'm sorry,
You know,
Larry. What says Anthony?
that's an excellent move for Detroit. That
Yeah.
really is. To me,
That's
you know, everybody's trying to sort of hand everything to the Knicks, but don't sleep on the Pistons.
Yeah.
No. A year there. A year mature.
Yeah,
You know?
exactly.
And Larry, is this the worst trade in history? Paul George for SGA?
Without a doubt. Without a doubt. Bar none. Bar none. That is the worst because when the trade went down, he got hurt every year, and what's his name improved every year. He's the best player in the NBA, you know. It was the worst trade, bar none.
But Larry, they didn't know he was going to be the player he became out to be, though. SGA.
Right.
They didn't know that, though, at that time.
Somebody seen something coming.
All right. And what you think, man? Is that the worst trade in NBA history?
When you look at it, I mean, I even go back farther than that, man. The Charlotte Hornets had him. And they traded him.
On draft night.
They came to the Clippers. So, I mean, they had him too. So that was an organization that's always struggling. But looking at, because of the reason why they made that trade, because Kawhi Leonard wanted Paul George. Because Kawhi Leonard wanted him. So it came down to either Kawhi going to sign with the Lakers or the Clippers. He wanted Paul George. So you have to really blame now on Kawhi. That's who Kawhi wanted. That's what happened, yes. Leonard wanted him. So it's just like I wanted LeBron wanted Westbrook. That's what happens.
All right, go ahead, Pastor Walt. What do you think about that trade, man?
No, that's exactly. Henry's right. Kawhi wanted them. They want to try rebuild because they're from the LA area. So it's Harden. You know, they're from the hometown, and they wanted to compete against, you know, the evil empire with the Lakers because Kawhi could have went to the Lakers. Remember when he was coming from Toronto, they was trying to get him to the Lakers. So he figured he'd bring Paul George, and they build their own thing. So he wanted him. That's really why, like Henry said, yeah, that's just like the Westbrook trade going to with LeBron. LeBron wanted Westbrook too. So that's more about the player than it is about the organization.
That's like
even though their owner said that you couldn't win with SGA. He said you couldn't win playing with that style.
Yeah, Bruce.
Yeah, that's like the Herschel Walker deal with Dallas in the NFL. You know what I mean? Once they build up to a winner.
Go ahead, Anthony. What do you think about that trade? It's the first trade in NBA history.
Maybe not the worst, but it's gonna be mentioned. I can remember Golden State trading for Parrish and then wound up drafting Joe Barry
Carroll. Yep.
Joe Barry Carroll, to his credit, Joe Barry Carroll had a decent career, but Robert Parrish, we didn't know who. I mean, we knew Robert Parrish was good, but we didn't know how Robert Parrish was going to wind up turning out. But yeah, this is, the fact that he went through two teams, that Charlotte basically traded him on draft night, and then the Clippers gave up on him. Again, goes back to management. Some of you wonder what these guys are drinking in these front offices.
Oh man, yeah, you might.
Charlotte drafted Kobe too, didn't
he? Yeah. Hey, real quick, bro. I just wanted to say I just looked it up. So in 2018, when the Charlotte Hornets drafted him, they drafted him 11th overall, and they traded to the Clippers for Miles Bridges and 2 future second-round picks.
For SGA.
Yes.
SGA.
Wow. How did that work out for them?
Both of those guys are one's working at Foot Locker, the other one's working at McDonald's.
Yeah, they still got Miles Bridges.
Hey, exactly. I thought exactly.
He ain't no SGA, but he ain't a bad player.
Yeah,
Miles Bridges is a bad man. Yeah, Miles Bridges is good.
Oh yeah.
The trade with SGA and Paul George, is that the worst in NBA history?
Yeah. I mean, in my book, yeah. I mean, we can say that now, but we didn't know that then.
It wasn't
You
then,
know?
it is now, though.
Yeah. Well, I
Agree.
mean, when you look at it now, we
Foles,
say
man.
yes, but it was a run
Right.
of the mill, a middle of the road kind of player. You know, a good fit for any team, and if they can get a couple of miles out of him, get some decent off the bench work from him. I mean, this is probably what they were thinking at that time. Who knew he was going to become what he's become, and a
All right.
champion on top of that?
All right, let me go to Larry for a second. Larry, Alonzo
Yeah.
Ball, he's with the Cleveland Cavaliers. Is he going to help Cleveland get over the hump or what? Alonzo Ball.
No. I don't think so. I don't think his game is that good. He's been around a while now, and he's never consistent.
I know.
It's not his game, it's his health.
Health.
Yep.
Yeah.
He's had a great game.
Either way, if you're not consistent, it doesn't matter.
He was playing good. Yeah, but that's with any player. If you got a player, same thing with Zion Williamson. You know what I mean? He got a heck of a game, but he could be considered a bust because he injured more than he's playing. Same thing with Ball. Ball played good when he played. He just can't stay healthy.
Then, hey, if you can't stay healthy, if you're not available, then what? You're no good to the team.
There's a whole lot of guys in there that supposed to be stars
Right,
that stay out half the year.
Let me go past the wall. But Alonzo Ball helped the Cleveland Cavaliers, Pastor.
Yeah. Like Bruce is saying, he got to stay healthy. He can help him because he gives him another ball handler, and he's bigger, so you can take Spider off the ball and let him just be the 2 guard. And the other kid they had, Jerome, was good, but he couldn't guard nobody. At least with Ball, he can handle the rock, and he's bigger. He's a bigger guard. So, but like you said, he's never healthy. He's never healthy. Yeah.
And so now let me ask a question.
I think Garland left, right? I think Garland
left Cleveland, didn't he?
Yeah,
Oh,
I
did
think so.
I don't think so. I think he's still there.
No, I didn't know he left.
I know they got.
I don't think he left.
Well, they was talking about
He probably had
there was a boom
he had
about LeBron James being traded to Cleveland. Y'all see that?
No.
And I seen him traded everywhere. Seen him to Cleveland. I seen him to Golden State. Yeah.
He's been traded everywhere except to the Harlem Globetrotters during the last.
Yeah, he's
couple of
everywhere, man. He's everywhere.
Yeah, you got this time of the year. This time
boy.
of the year, you got to be careful because there's so many rumors. Like
Exactly.
when they had Dame Lillard going to I think the Celtics, and he winds up signing with the Warriors. It's just
Yep.
got this time of the year, you got to be careful because they literally have nothing to talk about, so they will make up a trade just for clickbait.
Yeah, and online they got a whole lot of trade proposals.
Right.
So that we got to look at this as trade proposals.
Yeah.
Well,
What do you think, Brother Henry?
that to me is the media trying to stir the pot and get people talking about stuff. But at the end of the day, man, you said it best, Anthony, clickbait. But no, with this whole thing, man, I'm gonna stick to what I said. Let the season get started and get settled. Let's see who's on the block. Let's see who's playing, because I could speculate just like the media, and I could sound just like a media. You know the rule of assumption. Gentlemen, please don't make me say it. Think it in your own mind.
Mm-hmm. Something about you and
the Henry going to Cleveland.
Well, if he stays healthy, it'll help him because he's not going there to be a star. They already got their starting backcourt. He just go there and play his role as a backup. If he stays healthy, it should help him.
Okay.
Especially with Tyrese being out the whole year, that should definitely open the door for Cleveland to go a little further in the playoffs.
And even Boston, they're rebuilding. So the East is kind of wide open. Philly's not the same team they were. I know Detroit, like Pastor Wall says, is going to be a good team. Still got the Knicks. But the East is kind of wide open right now. It's kind of wide open, man.
I would agree with that for sure.
Yeah. That trade only if you get 60 games out of Ball, then the trade sort of justifies itself. But if he's going to do his standard out for 2.5 months, plays for 2.5 minutes, out for 2.5 months, plays 2.5 minutes,
You are so not right. You are
Right.
so not right. So not right.
Yeah, Garland is still with Cleveland.
Yeah.
Well, Bishop, agree
Yes,
or
sir.
disagree? Is Dwight Howard is a top 10 center of all time?
Oh no,
Disagree.
You
Disagree.
disagree?
Disagree. Top 15, yes. Top 10, no.
All right, hold on.
And
I'll
then
give
you're talking all time or present day.
Well, they say agree. Is he a top center of all time?
Well, no, definitely not. You got way too
No?
many in front of him. No, I don't think so. He's good. I mean, Dwight Howard, remembering his career and how he played, his best time at Orlando. Okay, I'll give him that one. But after that, Dwight Howard faded to black. Let's just say it like it is. You know what I'm saying? To
All
me,
right,
that's my opinion.
What about you, Larry? Is he a top 10 center of all time?
No, I don't think so. There's too many great centers to put him up there. He has some outstanding games, and he was really good, but top 10, he's not.
Is he better than Bill Walton?
No.
No,
I don't
no,
think so.
He better than Bob
No.
Lanier?
no.
No,
Bob Lanier, no.
definitely not on Bob Lanier.
I'm just asking. I mean,
I tell you what, he had Shaq jealous because they were calling him Superman.
all right,
Uh-huh.
so Bruce, is he a top 10 in your opinion?
Sure he is.
Okay,
Sure he is.
that's a legend talking.
Don't disrespect him like that. He was problems when he first came in the league.
He beat
There was
LeBron.
problems when he
Yeah,
left
he
the
was
league.
problems, man. He was the man.
So is he the top 10? He's the top 10 in your
Sure,
opinion.
he's top 10.
Go ahead, Pastor. What's your opinion?
No, absolutely not.
You and Bruce.
No.
Bruce said,
10? Top 10?
Yeah.
No.
Wow. Anthony.
Think about that, Bruce. Start counting back, man. 10? No.
What about you, Anthony? Is he in the top 10? No?
No.
No.
Hey, he's never played the D League, but if you stick him in there, of course. But go ahead.
Yeah. I mean, but this, if we're talking modern day, I'd be willing to, but all time, I mean,
Yeah, we talking about all time, right? Yeah,
all time. I can't go there. I go with Bishop said maybe top 15, but top 10. I mean, I
And
can't.
I'm gonna say this, Anthony. And Magic is not a center, but I would put Magic in front of him at this point.
Who?
Magic Johnson, he's not a center, but I'd even put him in front of him at this point.
Oh, yeah, Magic was a better play all around.
You should have concentrated.
No. I'm saying if I were to turn around and put Magic played for the time he played center when Kareem was out. I mean, that was only just a couple of games, but there's a major difference. Dwight Howard spent more time whining and crying and looking for pacifiers than he did.
Harder than that, man. Nowhere in the world you're gonna replace Magic with Dwight Howard at center for all time.
No, I put Magic at center if he were a
little
center.
series that
If
Magic
he were,
was center,
listen
couldn't
to
have him
me,
there all
listen to me
year like
carefully,
that.
Bruce. Listen to me carefully, Bruce. If Magic were a center, is what I said. We know Magic wasn't a center. He played center for 1 or 2, maybe 4 games at the most, or a couple of games in the playoffs. That was it.
1 game.
Well, my point is, that 1 game he played center, he had somebody that's never played center. He had a heck of a game.
I don't want to get out mad. A little bit of Magic.
If what you said,
No, we ain't. Nah.
Hey, there's no way he can be in the top 10.
No.
He can't.
No, not top. Not all time. No.
He's better than Patrick Ewing? No. He's better
No,
than
not better than Patrick Ewing. Not better than Moses Malone. Not better than Akeem Olajuwon. Not better than David Robinson. No, he can't be in top 10. And we ain't even talk about Chamberlain, Kareem. No.
We ain't put none of them.
No.
We ain't said nothing about Russell. We said nothing about Wes Unseld. We can keep going a little while.
He ain't better than the Joker. No. So no.
No. He probably be in the top 15 or 20.
Yeah.
Not the top 10. You talking about all time, all the great centers that ever played?
Come on now.
Think about that thing.
He will be in the top 20, top 15. If you lay down and you start naming centers, he won't make the top 10.
Nope.
Okay.
Not at all.
But he is in at least top 20, top 15.
Well, like Larry said, of the modern time, he's probably one of the best players in modern time at singing, but not top 10 all time.
Not all time.
No.
You know, you take the boy that got hurt, Alonzo Mourning. Where would you rate Alonzo Mourning at? As a
top
center?
10.
Top 10.
Probably number 9.
Alonzo Mourning.
No. Whoa, no.
I put him 9 or 10.
You okay?
Y'all got Alonzo Mourning top 10
I'm
tonight.
fine.
Top 10.
Your brain ain't working.
Come on, man.
Definitely.
Now, if he's in the top 10, you got to put the White in there.
No.
Come on,
Yeah.
man.
All right, you guys. I don't
Well,
want to
hold on, Jerry.
All
Let me
right.
throw another one.
Go ahead, Jerry.
What do you think about Rick Smits? Remember from Indiana? What do you think about him?
He ain't in the top 10.
No, he ain't in the top 10.
We know that.
Come on, Bishop. Now you know.
Listen, I'm just throwing centers out there, guys that had minutes and moments of impact. That was about it, because that's what Dwight Howard had, minutes and moments of impact.
I mean,
that was it.
Jackson.
Dwight Howard's in the Hall of Fame, so Smith ain't in the Hall of Fame.
Jack Sigma, he was a great center, man. He was good.
Jack Sigma.
Like, he ain't in the top 10.
Now we reaching. Now we are
all right.
I'm moving on. Larry.
You started this, Jerry.
Larry, give me your pick. Who you got? Larry Holmes or George Foreman in your prime?
Oh, my Lord.
Larry Holmes or George Foreman? George would kill him. He'd kill him.
Why you say that? Jimmy Young beat him. He was a boxer, though.
George Foreman in his heyday, when he'd laugh people out? No way.
So you got George Foreman?
Yes, 100%.
Common sense.
He said 100%.
100%. Who you got, Pastor?
Man, come back to me after that. That's a tough one, because I would go with Foreman too, but Larry Holmes is a great boxer. You know, that's a tough one. Let me come back to that one.
And you got to remember something. George Foreman had a problem with boxers.
Yeah, I'm telling you. I mean, I love George Foreman. If George Foreman had his mentality after he came back, you know, he wasn't just going in there and trying to kill him. Because to me, Larry Holmes, not as good as Ali, but he was that kind of style where he was a great boxer, and he had enough sting on his punch, but you couldn't just walk in on him, you know, and take his punch. So I think that's a tough one.
All right, Henry, who you got? Who you pick, Henry?
As far as skills, Larry Holmes hands down. Now, as far as more punching power, is Foreman.
Right.
Okay, but as far as his skills, he was definitely a better all-around boxer.
Yeah.
Okay, so it depends on how you look at it. But if you just want somebody just for punching power, you got to go with Foreman. They two different styles.
What's the question? Is the question
who will you pick?
Who would win the fight, or
who win the fight? Who win the fight? If you had to pick, if they were fighting each other, who would you pick?
If they're fighting each other, I had to put my money on Foreman, because I'm looking at the way I'm looking at this.
Go ahead.
Ali mastered the rope-a-dope.
Yep.
And I see Larry Holmes on the rope, ducking all them punches that them haymakers that Foreman was throwing on Ali.
Right.
I can't see Larry Holmes getting out the way of all that, like Ali did. You know what I mean? Because he mastered the rope-a-dope.
Right.
But Bruce, you have to look like this with Tyson against Buster Douglas. That's what this is, because Tyson was a knockout artist, but Buster Douglas kept him off him with that jab, man. You know what I mean? So that's what I'm looking at it. And Larry Holmes was better than Buster Douglas.
Yeah, remember now, Foreman lost to Jimmy Young now. Yeah, but he lost to Jimmy Young. He was a good boxer.
A good boxer, exactly. Yeah. That's what I'm looking at it. Yeah.
What you said, man, this is a tough one, man.
It's a tough one, man. Yeah.
It's a tough one.
But you're talking about at his prime.
Yeah.
At his prime, they went head to head. I would have had to go with Foreman.
If he can't get out the way of them haymakers, like y'all said.
Here's what I'm saying, because Larry Holmes.
Ray got out of them haymakers from Roberto Duran.
You got that right. But now I'm going to say this. Holmes had a good boxing style. But Holmes also had, let me finish this. Larry Holmes also had some points of laziness in a lot of his fights. And all it takes is that one Foreman-like punch, and you can pick Holmes up in the 13th row. End of
That's
story.
what I'm saying.
All right. So Larry, you got George Foreman easy, 100%.
Yes.
Right? Pastor not sure, or you're not sure who you get, right, Pastor? You're not sure right now.
You know what? Thinking about it, I'm going with Larry Holmes.
Going Larry Holmes. Who you got, Henry?
Yeah, because just from what you said, Foreman, that's why I said if he had the mentality after he got saved and he wasn't just going to go and knock his head off and he was going to actually, try to set him up and I would go in his later days. But when he was a young man, thought he was angry at the whole world, I think that Holmes would probably outsmart him like Ali did. That's just my opinion.
Who you got, Henry?
I would have to go with Larry Holmes because I think he was just more skilled,
Okay.
But to me, it depends on if he fought him before Ali or after Ali. Because
yeah.
he had that
Think about it. When he fought Joe Frazier, Joe Frazier was a good fighter.
Foreman never lost.
Henry.
Before that point, George Foreman never lost. And I didn't think Ali was going to beat him that night.
No, I was scared to death.
Nobody
Tell the truth, shame the devil.
So now, if Larry Holmes would have had that knowledge of knowing someone, then they would fought after. I have to go to Larry Holmes. Because he, to me, Larry Holmes was almost just as skilled as Muhammad Ali.
Yeah, that's what I said. To me,
can he take the punches on the rope the way Ali did? That would have to be the whole question.
Henry, but that was a strategy Ali used then. That strategy wasn't too much after that because he knew. See, even George didn't know he was going to run out of gas like that. Okay?
Right, absolutely.
That's why he paid the fool. The rope was dope.
Right.
He gave him a dope. See, he wouldn't make that mistake again. Now, Larry, the Joe Frazier, he just overpowered Joe Frazier.
There was two boxers and he didn't have nothing for that. Yeah.
Right, two sluggers and the bigger guy won. Right, just that simple. Two sluggers going at it. And the bigger slugger.
Larry Holmes is not a slugger, though.
Right, Larry Holmes is a boxer.
Right, he's a boxer.
Larry Holmes too.
Yeah, but I'm gonna be broke, boy, because I'm putting all my money on Big George.
Big George.
I hear you.
Big George.
Hey, listen, I'm riding with you, Bruce. I'm putting my money on George. You know why? Like I said, Larry Holmes, it takes 1 second to be sloppy. And it's over.
But
what my point is, as good a boxer as Larry Holmes was, he still had sloppy moments in his prime. So, I'm like this.
But look at that. When you put a master boxer against a slugger, most of the time the boxer won. Look at Sugar Ray against Roberto Duran. Sugar Ray against Hitman Tommy Hearns. Sugar Ray against Marvelous Marvin Hagler. The boxer won every time.
Right.
Listen, Sugar Ray.
That was Sugar Ray.
Hey, Marvin Hagler got ripped off on that one. I'm sticking my guns on that one.
No, he didn't.
Go ahead, Larry.
Hey, Sugar Ray was a special boxer. He was special.
Yeah.
I mean,
absolutely.
His hand speed, foot speed. He was a showman. When he came out there, he put on the show every time. So people love to watch him fight.
Listen, I got 7 o'clock. I'm not going to hold you guys all night. I got one last one. He was the second overall pick in 1986.
Yeah.
2 days later, after being picked by the Celtics. How good Henry Len Bias would have been in the NBA if he would have stayed alive? How do you think he would have been? Better than Tatum and up there with Michael Jordan or what? Up there with Charles Barkley and them or what? Come on, bro.
It's possible. It's hard to say because you take players like Zion Williamson, some of the guys, they got the talent, but they stay hurt. So since Len Bias never really made it to the NBA, he had the potential, and he could have been, but it's really hard to say because we don't know if injuries would have played. But if he would have made it and stayed healthy, I would have said yes.
Playing for the Celtics now, he was going to be Larry Bird's replacement. Or to playing with Larry Bird.
He had the ability, but sometimes some guys, they get drafted and the NBA careers don't be. Some guys have great college careers. The NBA career don't match. So it is hard to say.
Now, wasn't he the one that gave Michael Jordan a hard time in college?
Exactly. That's why I'm waiting for my
You
turn.
guys are college guys. Go ahead, Bishop.
Listen, and Henry, I respect your opinion, but all right, on the college level, Bias dominated Jordan every time Maryland played North Carolina. Yeah, he
Okay.
dominated.
Well,
And
Bishop, I just want to ask you this question. Now, when
before you ask
Jordan
the
was in
question,
college,
let me finish my comment
hold
before
on,
you ask the question.
Let him finish, Henry. Let him finish. Go ahead,
Before you,
Bishop.
now, if you translate that, because Jordan
Can I
had
hear
to
you though? Go
me
ahead.
a Jordan to me had a good college career, but he had a great NBA career. And you're right. Bias's NBA career, if it was anything like his college career, he might have dominated Jordan. We might still see Michael Jordan as a great player, but we may not see Michael Jordan in the eyes that we see him today with a Lynn Bias there to kind of put him in his place. That's all I'm saying.
and I just want to ask you now, when Michael Jordan was in college, and compared to anybody think Michael would be as good in the NBA as he was in college? No. That's all I'm
No.
saying.
And I agree with you. And this is what I'm saying. Bias dominated when he was in college. Okay? The Celtics got him. The Celtics got the cream of the crop when they got Bias. And then, and go ahead.
You got to understand the decisions that you make. Jordan wanted to be a better player. Lim Bias thought he was at his peak. He can dominate. He can do whatever. And that's when you make bad choices. Okay?
But Bias was not at his peak. He was that good and still had room for growth. That's how good Len Bias was.
Upstairs, though, you got to be head smart, too.
Now, and Larry, I'm not going to disagree with you. I mean, we all know how he left here. It was because of drugs and things of that nature.
Yeah, we know.
But at the same point, I'm looking at his game, the skill of his game. He still had space to expand. If Jordan was able to become great, imagine if Bias in his skill set had that same ability. So now how do you match that? He was already beating him down. Go ahead.
But the thing was, the whole saying is the only one that could stop Michael Jordan was who? Their coach. No, the coach. He's the one that kept Jordan in check. He didn't give him the freedom to be the Michael Jordan when he came. No, Dean Smith is the only one that could stop Michael Jordan was Dean Smith. He had to play within the context of that. You had James Worthy, you had Sam Perkins, so he's the only one that stopped Michael Jordan.
Well, the truth of the matter is that Jordan got his moment to shine in the NCAA college in the championship game, if I'm not mistaken. I guess that was the winning shot or the go-ahead shot that he put up. But and my opinion, and just my opinion only, gentlemen, I thought Len Bias would have been a greater player than Michael Jordan. Just my opinion.
Yeah, I think he would have been a great player. Yeah, he had a potential. Put it that way.
Yeah, I agree with Henry though. I mean, they had a lot of great guys that played college ball. And I'm talking about great. Look at the starting guard that played for Houston, the 5 slammer jammers, and he got the ball and couldn't do nothing.
Yeah, Pearl Washington.
Nothing.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, Ralph Sampson.
And this guy, what was his name? Michael something played with Houston with Clyde Drexler and them boys.
Yeah.
The left-hander, though.
Yeah, and he got to Boston, man, and couldn't buy a basket.
Yeah, he got drafted by Boston, couldn't do nothing.
Yeah. Let me take you guys.
You don't have to do that. Look at Christian Laettner. He's probably one of the greatest college players of all time.
Exactly. That's what they say anyway. And what happened? He was even with the dream team of all things, if you remember. Now I'm gonna tell you one more at you. Y'all remember Trajan Langdon from Duke?
Yeah.
How great a 3-point shooter he was.
UCLA.
And what he played for, he went and played for Duke in that championship game against UConn in '99.
UCLA. Yeah, it was Duke.
Yeah, it was Duke. He played for him in '99, and UConn. And now I'm gonna show you a great college player that never made the NBA. Ricky Moore shut Trajan Langdon down in that game. That was when Elton Brand and Trajan Langdon they had already crowned Duke the kings of college basketball at that time. And Ricky Moore shut Trajan Langdon down. I mean, shut him down. Trajan Langdon had a total of 8 points in that game. This guy averaged 27 points a game.
He wasn't that tall either. He was short.
No, he wasn't, but he was a shooter. He was a 3-point specialist.
But let me say this before we go. I
Uh-huh.
want y'all to keep your eye on Bailey, the one that got drafted for Utah.
Uh-huh.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
He's the offensive monster, Bruce.
Yes, sir, buddy.
Offensive monster, man. You gotta
Are
keep his
you-
head on straight though.
He
You
gonna
gotta
be
keep his
better.
head on straight.
He better
Are
than
you watching the
Flag,
summer
man.
games, Bruce?
Huh?
Are you watching the NBA summer games?
Yes, sir.
Hey man, that's the best time to catch up with him. I heard about him, but I haven't seen him. So
Hey,
if you get
he
it,
gonna be
hit
something, man. It's gonna be between him and Flag for that rookie of
hit,
the year.
hit
All
me
right,
up on the
listen.
text when he's playing.
Listen, Larry, I want you to give me some football topics, okay, going forward, man. I know
Okay.
football season is before basketball, right? And whatever you hear that is meaningful for the show, I want you to either text it to me, you too, Pastor. So we can talk about the football. You guys, that's your sport, football.
Oh, you didn't see my my thing I sent you, Jerry? I gave you a heads up.
No, which
Oh no,
one?
not there. I sent it to the WJRV.
Yeah.
I'll check it out. I'll check it out, though.
Oh, I sent it last week. Yeah, the all district flyer, all district picture.
Oh yeah. Okay. Okay.
That was for Larry.
Bring it up if you're available Friday. We'll talk about it. Henry, close on the prayer, Henry.
All right. Everybody ready?
Yes, sir.
We're gonna get
Thank you
ready
for
though.
your grace, your love, your mercy. For you are such a wonderful God. And we
Yeah.
thank you for our fellowship tonight, Lord. Thank you, Lord, that we got to be able to talk about sports. And Father, we
Yeah.
ask you to bless every household tonight, not only on the panel, God, but those that are listening, God. Bless every household, Father. And we send prayers to the families, God, in
Yes.
Texas, Lord,
Yes.
that you will comfort them, strengthen the families that have lost their loved ones, Father, in the mighty name of Jesus. And Lord, we give you praise, glory, and honor. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
All right.
Amen.
Amen. If you guys
Sorry about
Go
that.
Knicks.
They rang the doorbell. My dogs was barking.
Oh,
I,
All right, Joe.
hey, let me start some trouble. I predict the Knicks in the NBA Eastern Finals next year.
Yeah.
That's a dream.
That's just like me saying the Lakers gonna win the title. All right.
Hey,
All right.
just,
you guys
hey,
have
just
a
like
good night.
Minnesota's going to the Super Bowl. Keep that in mind.